This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag. Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag is Baton Rouge's longest running and best television show. Who would have believed that?
My best friend, Lee Feinswag, look at the Christmas.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. Remember, it all starts at Breck. Now, your host, Lee Feinswag.
It's a brave new Sports 225 world. Good evening. It's the start of, Ron, are you ready for this? Season number 22. My first guest of the year is Ron Higgins, but before we get to Ron, I'll tell you, after those first 21 years, we're now going to a 30-minute show from an hour, which I'm excited about on one hand. On the other hand, I'm a little nervous about because you get in this comfort zone after a couple of decades of a time clock in your head. And we're also airing this show now on our Sports 225 YouTube channel. Hopefully some of you are watching it there. But what a great way to kick it off with Ron Higgins. And those are some canary yellow pants.
Yes, they are. We're now in Fast Break Feinswag. 30 minutes. Hit the buzzer. Bang. Let's go.
That's good.
Question one. Bang.
Got to talk faster. Well, you get, after all those years, you get this clock in your head about how long segments can be and stuff, and there's a little bit of tinkering, but hopefully it'll be mindless sports, inane banter, and the like.
Just quicker, mindless sports, inane banter.
Well, we talked a few times over the summer and kept up, but I didn't see you. At the end of last spring, you got away, took a cruise. You like cruises, don't you?
I love cruises, yeah. We cruise at least once or twice a year. We don't care where we go. We just, they can go around in circles. As long as they serve us and they have a casino and a health club, it's all we're good. We love to cruise. It's a one-stop shop vacation. You don't have to stand in line for restaurants. You don't have to drive to restaurants. You don't have to do anything but get on the boat. And New Orleans has a really good cruise port. We've cruised out of Miami and out of Galveston. New Orleans has a great cruise port.
You eat a lot? That's my thing. My fear is that I'll come back like 25 pounds heavier.
I'll work out every morning. So I mean, I've never come off a cruise where I've gained weight. One of them I came off and I lost weight.
You've got to be in the minority, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, people go in there. It's just like it's free for all. We'll eat all day. We'll eat in the morning. We before lunch. We after lunch. We before dinner. Hey, we get pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's eat that too. Hey, there's an all-you-can-eat ice cream. Let's get that too. Some people do that, and some people, of course, drink a lot. We don't really do it either. We don't hardly drink on the boat. We know one of our friends from New Orleans. Of course, New Orleans, they like to drink, and this couple, their bar bill was actually more than the cruise cost, which was amazing to me. But anyway, it had a good summer cruise. Just kind of hung around here. Hardly took a vacation. We had a Bama Shy class of 74 semi-reunion for everybody turning 60, which I will be in September. And thank you, Merrill Truitt Hughes. Thank you for putting that together.
Well, welcome to the 60s Club.
Yeah, and so now we're into football. SEC Media Day was unusual circus.
Yeah, I mean, because you come off that cruise and you've got to start. You write stuff on seemingly every day, or at least preparation for, and then the SEC football season. But the SEC Media Days were mid-July, which seems like a long time ago, but it's obviously a fairly brilliant bit of marketing by all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they might be considering moving up a little bit later in July. I think it's probably the gap's a little bit too big right now. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like that was like forever ago. We were in Birmingham or Hoover and listening to.
Well, let's start with that. At SEC Media Days every year, the throngs that are there vote on who they think will win the respective divisions, the overall title, and how they'll do. Very rarely are they right. It's just the way the best teams don't always win, or the ones that people think are going to win, and every year there's something.
Yeah.
What did you gather out of that this year as compared to what you think might happen? And who did you personally vote for?
Well, I personally voted for Alabama in the West and Georgia in the East. And both are kind of linked in the fact, in the sense that LSU hasn't beaten Alabama 5 straight years. Until I see it, then I don't believe it. Everybody loves Tennessee in the East. Tennessee something like 4-35 since Fulmer's last season against top 25 teams. They can't close anybody out until they beat somebody good.
And I should point out that Ron, who I didn't even do any setup because we just know each other so well. He writes for NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, and this is the start of your what year SEC football season?
Oh, this is number 37 or 38, 37. Yeah, I mean, as a professional, full-time paid journalist, 37 years, yeah.
So when you say these numbers and I want to see it, you come from a strong frame of reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was explaining to somebody, they asked me, and if they thought LSU would change their offense totally. I said, no, I don't think they will. I think they'll tinker with some stuff. I said, now this dates me, but the only offense ever known was changed totally was back in 1971 when Bear Bryant put the wishbone in during fall camp at secret and changed completely what he had the year before, and then just surprised everybody. I said, but that doesn't happen anymore. They're not going to.
That's not why they're closing practice?
Well,
you kidding me? You mean they're closing practice just so you can't see them?
Well, our Jim Kleinpeter and our staff that day got chastised by Cam Cameron for filming secret handoffs. Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Oh yeah, he went crazy when told him stop filming us. Kleinpeter filmed Brandon Harris hand the ball off.
It wasn't like Statue of Liberty?
No, it was just handing the ball off, and so
Oh, Lord.
we got two handoffs and hey, ho, let's shut it down. So we had, Les was supposed to be open first 20 minutes. I think all this week.
Yeah.
I think the over/under we had when he had shut it down was 5 practices. I think he came in at 4. So
Was he late at all for any news conferences by chance?
Oh, just every one
Just
of them
kidding.
so far. Yeah.
All right, hold that thought. He's Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. I'm Lee Feinswag, and you're watching this fine Sports 225 television show, the first of the 22nd season on either Cox 4, Cox Sports Television, which is CST, or our new YouTube channel, Sports 225, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College, and I really encourage you to come out to our 12-acre campus here on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge.
Contact ITI to enroll in our Construction Management Associate and Occupational Studies degree program. Learn to plan, coordinate, budget, and supervise construction projects and collaborate with engineers and architects in the residential, commercial, industrial, and heavy civil construction industry sectors. Call now about this new exciting career degree. ITI Technical College. Begin your journey to a better life.
Back on Sports 225, the season opener, hanging out with Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. And now, you Olympics guy?
I've covered several Olympics. So
Atlanta was probably your first.
No, Seoul was my first.
Was it?
Did Seoul, Barcelona, and Atlanta. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's great.
I love Seoul, Barcelona, Atlanta.
Wasn't Seoul the Olympic basketball that we lost?
Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah, because they had a dream team next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, last one they lost. But
So you covered the dream team.
Oh yeah, and I had a lot of great Olympic stories. One of my favorites is I think it was Barcelona Olympics maybe. Luke Longley's playing for Australia. Okay, and they play the USA, and I want to talk to him after the game. So I go there and wait for him. And like 30 minutes pass, and somebody comes out and said, "Luke's in drug testing right now. He'll be out in about 30 minutes." So I keep waiting. About 45 minutes later, he comes out, sits down, he goes, "Hey mate, do me a favor." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "Listen, I was totally dehydrated after the game, and so I had to get hydrated. So I drank a couple of 6-packs of beer. So I'm a little bit drunk right now. I'm really drunk. So if I say anything crazy, clean the quotes up, will you?" I said, "Sure." Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm invested in these Olympics. Okay, as the new co-publisher and editor of what used to be Volleyball Magazine, volleyballmag.com, we're all over these games. So we've got the 2 women's beach teams, the 2 men's beach teams, and my partner covers the beach stuff. And then I've got the indoor men and the indoor women, our national teams. And when they're playing, I want them to do well because I think not only do I know so many people on each team, but that I think we have a vested interest in them doing well. So I'm gripping on that. Then I got the water polo, which I play and I have a great passion for. I was lucky enough to see the U.S. men play in Houston right before the games. They played Montenegro, which was not a friendly. It was a last scrimmage, with real refs and everything before they went, and they're in the same pool, no pun intended. And it was big boy water polo. Those guys just pounded each other.
I covered Olympic water polo.
Yeah.
It was new for me because you play it. But I never had any idea. When you see a guy, he's kind of treading water, and he either got the ball or whatever. And all of a sudden, it looks like the shark and jaws came underneath him. And I asked, what had happened?
Oh, it's just.
And he said they grab your private parts and yank them down, so you go down. You learn things. I love the learning things.
Well, the best part about getting into older guys' age group is that we don't play very chippy. Our game is not there.
Oh, that's really chippy. It's a brutal chip.
So, but here's where I was going with all that. So we have from Baton Rouge, Megan O'Leary, and by the time this comes out, Megan O'Leary, the former Episcopal great athlete, will have finished her competition in the rowing. But as we're taping this on Tuesday, and I don't know if you saw this morning, in her race, so let me back up. They started out the first race, 6 people and 6 boats, and they caught a crab, her dad told me. And that's a rowing term for a bad wave hitting the paddle, and it just took them out of kilter, and they finished dead last. Now, the nice thing is, if you finish dead last the first day, you're not out of it. They let you keep going. The second day, the competition was wiped out completely. They canceled it because of the bad weather and the waves and the wind and everything. So Monday, they had to finish in the top 4, in the top 3 of 4 in what they call repêchage. That's some French word for getting to basically play yourself back in it. And they did. So then this morning, we're taping this on Tuesday, they are in the semifinals. And you got to finish in the top 3 to make it into the final, the A group final, and have a chance to medal, because then the other people all go to some other thing. It's so close at the end, they hit the line, and it flashes up 1, 2, and 3rd place New Zealand, not them. And the announcer, this boring British guy, says, I would wait to see what happens. And about 30 seconds later, they say, no, the Americans got 3rd place by 5/100ths of a second. Well, I mean, I've known Megan since she was in high school. We've been friends for all these years. It's such a great story. My heart is in my throat the whole time. I'm gripping more watching this stupid boat race, 2-person sculls, than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of great stories in the Olympics that you never know about, and a lot of sports you never see. That's why I enjoyed covering the Olympics. I was able to see sports like I never covered, like team handball. I had no idea what that was until I covered it. It was a combination of a little bit of basketball, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of soccer.
It's big in American PE classes, team handball. It's a wonderful sport. I'm really surprised it's never taken off.
Yeah, I mean, you have a goalie, and I think you can dribble the ball, then you can run 3 steps, and you can pass it. You set screens, and they have an arc outside, and it was fascinating because you can take off behind the arc and float, okay? And so I'm watching the Cubans and Americans, and the Cuban has this guy who can bring it. And he's like a long jumper. He hits the line, he's floating, and he's throwing this thing like 90 miles an hour. And the Americans like trying to deflect it and catch it. And one time he caught it and drove him back through the net. I mean, but it's fun to see all these different things. And of course, I remember I covered cycling, the velodrome in Seoul, and I had this Korean reporter saying, we understand why aren't Americans very good in cycling? The velodrome. I said, we have to understand, and we said, we don't, in America, basically we have 5-year-old kids who can throw, papers on porches from 20 yards away on a bike riding side saddle. But it comes going around in circles, not so much.
Anyway, the punctuation on it is by the time you're watching this on either Cox 4 CST or Sports 225 YouTube channel, Megan O'Leary and her partner Ellen Tomic will have finished their competition, and let's hope they medal. I hope they win. It's going to be really tough, but they're in the final 6 no matter what.
Yeah, I like that.
And you can go back, you can go to sports225.com and see the interviews I did with her for this show about her amazing story about quitting her job, giving up everything to row a boat and to qualify for the Olympics. Just fabulous. So
it's always good stuff. I covered somebody from Memphis who won a gold medal in a relay in Atlanta, and this is somebody who just came from just the worst neighborhood in Memphis, and just kept running and built herself up, and just made something of herself. It was a great story, but you have a lot of stories like that in the Olympics. I
know. He's Ron Higgins. He writes for NOLA.com, and he's a great guest on Sports 225. We're a little over. We got to take this break, and we'll be right back.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, one family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
You're laughing just thinking about whatever it is.
Well, just some Olympic stories I have in my head are just ridiculous.
All
They're
right.
just ridiculous.
We're back on Sports 225, still laughing about Olympic stories. And, you know, when I was a kid, I always remember, even as a little boy, going, wait, you know, the American judge gives him a 9.5. The British judge gives him a 9.4. The Romanian gives him a 6.2. You know, I knew it was all messed up way back then. I knew Avery Brundage, the old IOC leader, was a bad man. I mean, I figured that out as a young kid.
Very subjective. You know, some of those things are just ridiculous. And then you have clear-cut stuff like the U.S. men's team basketball beating hell by like 40. You know,
I liked it better when we had all college players.
Yeah, I mean, it was more competitive. Yeah.
It wasn't about, for me, it was about the spirit of the Olympics and giving opportunity to those people instead of just world domination in basketball. Who says we have to do that?
The rich getting richer, and they all live on a yacht during the Olympics.
Yeah.
They rented a yacht to live in the harbor. You know, so I can see maybe there why, because some of the conditions.
Right, because they have security concerns.
But that's been that way. I mean, a lot of different Olympics. But you know, I mean, I was at the last one they had amateurs and they lost. You know, so you can't do that. We got to go get the best and go blow everybody away again. So, but it was. You know, each Olympics had its own distinct flavor. I remember stories from each Olympics. I mean, not necessarily sports, you know, but stuff. In Seoul, they have this part of Seoul called Itaewon, and it's like a Korean Bourbon Street. It stays open all night. Mm-hmm. So I was with a columnist friend of mine from Memphis, and we were walking down the street, and he sees this madam, this lady of the evening, and she says, "See those girls over there?" We went, "Wow, yeah." He goes, "They do anything you want, $50 American." And my guy says, 50? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, we can't, sorry. She goes, "They not pretty enough?" And she goes, "No, they're beautiful." "Price wrong?" No. No, she goes, "What's wrong?" He goes, "I wouldn't know what to do the last 59 minutes. I just fell over on the curb laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. And she had a puzzled look on her face. But it was every look had a flavor to it. So everything was very efficient. You know, after a game, that box score was right there. The results were right there. Barcelona, you know, after a hour, where's the box score? "Oh, we get it to you eventually. We're good. We're good." It was very laid back. But both cities were wonderful. There, you know, there's different flavors to it. And like I said, and Atlanta was totally different. I mean, the bomb went off, and I was in a building near the bomb when it went off, and it wasn't good. But Atlanta did the best job it could, you know, considering all that.
I think Boston's the smartest one of the bunch when they just said, "No, the voters there were like, no, we don't want any part of it."
It costs way too much money. It really taxes your city. You might not get out of debt forever because you're paying for stuff.
Well, the IOC makes FIFA look like a bunch of choir boys.
Oh yeah.
But and if you haven't seen the HBO Real Sports special about that, if it airs again, see it, about the IOC and the way they leave carnage behind with all these games. Anyway, enough Olympic stuff. Before I got off on that tangent in the last segment, we were talking about SEC football, which, you know, I think is probably what we're going after the most here. Next week is this show a lot of it will come from LSU Football Media Day, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of things out there and hearing Les Miles address the troops in a longer, relaxed atmosphere if he's on time or not doesn't really matter.
I'm looking forward to talking to people like we haven't talked to yet, like Leonard Fournette.
Good idea.
And Brandon Harris. You know, guys that we so far haven't been able to talk to.
I personally, I always open that show by going right to the special teams guys, and it's always lighthearted. But I don't see how it can be this year because you had an important guy transfer, and then you had Kobe Delahousse almost die.
Yeah, an accident. And, the first day of practice, he was out there booming the ball.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
And it was good to see him. He is such a good kid. And
and in case you don't know the story, he was in Kobe Delahousse, the LSU kicker, was in a car with a couple other kickers from different schools. I think it was in Wisconsin.
Nebraska and I think Michigan State.
Yeah, and they were in a one-car accident, and the other two guys died, and he had injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
I think I think one died. I think, yeah, maybe. But anyway,
yeah,
he was in the back seat and survived.
Yeah.
And he got knocked out, of course, and was awakened by the car being on fire. He felt the flames. He was able to get out. It was good to see him back on the practice field. He's one of the really good kids on that team. There are a lot of good kids on that team. He's one of them.
Well, you mentioned Leonard Fournette. Once the offseason comes about, he's pretty impossible to track down for some quotes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I have a funny story to tell you about another LSU quote, but I'm only going to tell it to you in the break.
Okay.
But yeah, what would you ask Leonard Fournette if you get that opportunity on Sunday? First question, only question that matters.
First question, Leonard Fournette. Would you like to run more this year if it meant more victories?
Ooh, the old
and he'll say
individual and team thing.
And he'll say yeah, because I think he'll run less this year. I mean, if they want to win, he'll run less this year, because it means, one, they'll be getting guys in the game more, and hopefully they'll be throwing the ball a bit more and balancing things out. Not to say he won't have a great year. It'd be interesting if he had, say, less yards and less carries, but still won the Heisman. And that could happen if they are contending for the national championship. That helps.
Good place to stop and get us back on track with this new and improved clock for this new and improved Sports 225. He's Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. At least I think it's new and improved.
Hurry.
I'm Lee Feinswalk. We'll be right back.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Back on Sports 225, coming down the home stretch, and it's a brave new Sports 225 world with a 30-minute show instead of an hour, airing, of course, as you're either watching it on Cox 4 CST or a new Sports 225 YouTube channel. Ron Higgins is here with me from NOLA.com. Thanks to everybody here who always helps us out at Cox, from Eric Coleman to Nils Breckhoff and to John Williams of JCW Productions for directing the show today and keeping us on track. That was a funky noise. Is that your phone?
All of a sudden, it just decided to record you.
Because I got mine,
Siri decided to record you all of a sudden.
Hello.
Hello.
Anyway, how about, before you moved back to Louisiana 2 years ago, about
September 2013.
13, yeah, so almost 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So most of your tax dollars over the previous couple of decades did not go to Tom Benson and the Saints. But much of our tax dollars, 10 million of them, if the number I recall properly, was what he donated to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, to have the stadium called the Tom Benson Field and all that. And how about an actual NFL exhibition game at the Pro Football Hall of Fame being canceled at Tom Benson Field?
I guess he didn't donate enough money for painters that could get it done.
Your tax dollars at work. That's all I thought about.
I did. I mean, that was pretty incredible. I mean, you can understand why they canceled. I thought it was, you had to. I mean, if you sit there, it's like concrete. Understand, like they painted it, then they covered it with tarp. That's like aluminum foil. It's like let's just like an easy bake oven. Let's bake it up. I couldn't believe they did that.
Easy bake oven.
That's an old school 1960s reference.
You're beautiful. And a reminder, he does turn 60 in September.
Yeah. I'm aging.
The SEC football and LSU football season will kick off in about 3 weeks. You'll be back maybe before then, and I'll see you. But in 30 seconds or less, since I may not see you before the start of that, give me a synopsis of the season.
I think that they will go. Somebody asked me. I said they'll go 9-3 or 10 or 9-3 or 11-1.
This is the LSU football team, right? Okay.
I said I think they're going to lose to Florida. I think Florida's finally going to have their number in Gainesville. They've barely been the last couple of years.
You mentioned two schools that you very high on, Georgia and Florida, both with new coaches.
Yeah. And I think Florida had a new coach last year, Georgia this year. Mm-hmm. But if they get to the Alabama game, if they lose to Alabama, they'll lose to A&M. If they beat Alabama, they'll beat A&M.
All right, I got to stop you there. He's Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. We've survived the first show of now the 22nd year this endeavor. Can
Man,
you
it was
imagine?
easy. It
That's
wasn't a
it.
blink.
All right, we got to get out of here. We'll see you next week. We'll start from LSU Football Media Day. I'm Lee Feinswald. Good night. Leading out, saying goodbye to the peeps.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry. See the mowers marching, prizes fill the sky. This Spanish Town Mardi Gras, may it never die. Poetry was everywhere, sweet music filled the air, and just then she glanced my way.